take a look at these two sentences. El café es delicioso. El café está delicioso. Now, both of these sentences literally translate to the coffee is delicious. Now, both of them are correct, and both of them use the exact same adjective, delicious, but they don't mean the same thing in Spanish. You can't swap one for the other. So what's going on? How can they both translate as the same thing in English but be different in Spanish? Well, if you've been learning Spanish for a little while now, you've probably come across the two verbs ser and estar, which mean to be. What a lot of people teach is the classic rule that the verb ser is used for permanent things and the verb estar is used for temporary things. Now, although that rule does work in some situations, it doesn't work at all in the examples that I'm going to give you in today's video. Now, the most important thing to take note of in this lesson is that although ser and estar both translate as to be in English, in Spanish they're completely different words with their own separate meanings. And in this video, we're going to take a look at how those meanings modify adjectives. So instead of permanent or temporary, when we pair these verbs with adjectives, the way to think of it is that ser is used for characteristics and estar is used to report an experience. When you use ser with an adjective, you're describing a characteristic that defines that thing by nature. You're describing its identity and its intrinsic qualities. And when you use estar with an adjective, you're describing your experience of it right now at this moment. You're describing its current state. To make this distinction clearer, let's go back to our example sentence, the coffee is delicious. El café es delicioso. That sentence is using ser as the verb to connect coffee and delicious. Now, as I said before, that when ser is used as an adjective, you're describing a characteristic that defines that thing by nature. So in that sentence using ser, we're characterizing coffee. We're saying that coffee as a drink is delicious. I'm attributing deliciousness as a quality of coffee in general. Coffee is delicious by nature. Now with estar, the viewpoint changes. El café está delicioso. In this sentence, we're using estar as the verb to connect the words coffee and delicious. As I said before, when you use estar with an adjective, you're describing your experience of it right now, at that moment. So in this second sentence with estar, we're saying that this particular coffee that I'm drinking right now is tasting delicious. I'm telling you about my experience of the cup of coffee that I'm drinking at this moment. Can you see the difference? With ser, I describe what coffee as a product is like by nature. And with estar, I describe what a particular cup of coffee tastes like to me right now at this moment. Okay, so let's look at a couple more examples so you can really see how this works in practice. El mango es dulce and el mango está dulce. Both of these literally translate into English as the mango is sweet. Now at this point, I want you to pause the video and think about the difference between those two Spanish sentences. So the sentence with ser, el mango es dulce, is saying that a characteristic, a defining feature of mangoes is that they are sweet by nature. And the sentence with estar, el mango está dulce, is talking about your experience of a specific mango at that moment. It's saying that this particular mango that you're eating right now tastes especially sweet. Here's one more example. El jardín es bonito and el jardín está bonito. Both of these literally translate into English as the garden is pretty. Again, pause the video and think about the difference between those two Spanish sentences. Now the sentence with ser, el jardín es bonito, describes beauty as a characteristic of a particular garden. It's saying that generally speaking, it's a beautiful garden. Now the sentence with estar, el jardín está bonito, describes how a particular garden looks right now, in its current condition. Maybe the flowers have bloomed, the grass has been cut, and a lot of work has gone into making it look nice. So instead of describing the garden's general character, you're describing the way it appears to you at this moment. So in summary, ser describes characteristics, what something is like by nature, its identity, its general qualities. And estar describes a resulting state, how something is in a specific moment, the way it's experienced or perceived right now. Now, before you think that that's all there is to it, there's something else that I want to cover, because this is where a lot of people get confused. By the way, all of the information from today's video is available in a PDF that you can download for free. And if you want extra support with your Spanish, join my free WhatsApp community. The links to both the PDF and the community are down in the description below. So up until now, you might be thinking, okay, so ser is for facts and estar is for experiences, but it's not quite so simple. Let's go back to our coffee sentence using ser. El café es delicioso. Coffee is delicious. Well, the thing is, not everyone likes coffee, so that's not really a fact, is it? It's an opinion, and yet it still uses the verb ser. Take a look at this other example. El golf es aburrido. Golf is boring. Now, plenty of people watching this video would probably agree, but plenty of others love golf, so that sentence is completely subjective, and yet it still uses the verb ser. So what's going on? Well, in both of those sentences, the speaker is saying that this quality belongs to this thing. This is what coffee is like. This is what golf is like. They're describing it as a characteristic, and that's what ser does. It doesn't matter if it's a fact or just your opinion. What matters is that you're saying this quality is part of this thing. So you can use ser to share your personal takes on things, your opinions, your tastes, your judgments. El fútbol es emocionante. Football is exciting. La ópera es aburrida. Opera is boring. Este libro es increíble. This book is incredible. None of those statements are facts, but in each of those, because you're saying this quality belongs to this thing, you use the verb ser. Now, compare that to the verb estar. El golf está aburrido. The golf is boring. Here you're not saying that golf is boring as a sport. You're saying that this specific game of golf, the one that you're watching right now, isn't very exciting. You're talking about your experience at this moment. You're not talking about the sport in general. So it's not about facts versus opinions. It's about whether you're describing the inherent qualities of a thing, or if you're talking about your experience of it right now. So ser isn't just for facts, it's also for opinions and personal judgments. If you're saying this is what something is like by nature, then you use ser. But the moment you're talking about what you're experiencing right now at this moment, that's when you use estar. Now, everything we've looked at today has one thing in common. The adjective always meant the same thing in the two sentences. Delicioso meant delicious, whether we use ser or estar. And dulce meant sweet, either way too. The verb just changed how we were framing it, whether we were characterizing the thing or reporting our experience of it. But here's something that's going to surprise you. There's another group of adjectives in Spanish where ser and estar don't just change the framing, they actually change the meaning of the word entirely. Take the Spanish adjective listo. Él es listo. With the verb ser means he is clever. But él está listo with the verb estar means he is ready. The definition of the word listo completely changes depending on whether you use ser or estar. That's exactly what we're going to get into in the next video. You can check out the video by clicking the thumbnail that's on screen or by clicking the link to it down in the description below. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.